Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you again. Next, we're going to have our first speaker, Wendall T. Hare. He identifies as gay and is a convert to the LDS Church. The first in his family to be baptized, he was raised by a strong and loving single mom. He has an older sister and is the uncle to 4 nieces and nephews. He served in LDS mission in the St. George, Utah mission. After the promulgation of the November 2015 LDS handbook policy change, he said, my world and faith came crashing down. Since then, he has struggled to find a place in the church and has made major changes in his faith that have helped him find solace. After we hear from Wendall, we'll go ahead and have a congregational song, Redeemer of Israel, on number 6. Wendall.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. As Blair said, my name is Wendall. I was like part of it. I was like the majority of my talk right there. I'm just kidding. But yes, I'm Wendall, and I think half of you guys know who I am already. So I hope the Spirit will be with me as I speak to you tonight, or those who are angry at God or who don't believe in that. I seriously hope I do not make a complete ass of myself. That's in the Bible. I say it. But yes, as Blair said, my spiritual journey and my spiritual healing has been an interesting one. I am a convert. I have been very blessed to be a part of the LDS Church. I've also seen the many miracles that it has brought to not only me, but to my family as well. After I served my mission, I was privileged to baptize my mother and my nephew. And thus, I guess you can say, me being the pioneer in the family, I had a lot a lot of people looking up to me, looking forward to me. I really wanted to make my nephew proud, and even to this day, he always looks up to me. So yeah, I that's one. I don't know honestly how to really start these. It's been 4 years since I've really given a talk. So I guess I can go by the many instances in my life of the people who have really showed me how to overcome trials and how to, like the song said, press forward. A wonderful example, probably the greatest person on earth besides the Savior, is my mother. No one can challenge me on that. It is truth. She, like it says in my bio, she is a very strong, courageous woman. She raised me and my older sister by herself, and I never really thought of it until now of how much she sacrificed for us. As I went through my struggles, I asked her, Mom, I'm really struggling, and I want to know how you were able to overcome all of the trials that you had in your life. There were several moments where she was unemployed. So many instances where I saw her how she would just try to keep a positive face. As she continually fights or tries to find a job to keep a roof over our head and food on the table and clothes on our backs. And she just says, Wendall, one thing I've learned is that I don't put anyone before God. God is at the helm of everything I do. I love God, and I know that God loves me. That is what gives me the most strength. she also says that whatever trial comes your way, it will pass. Don't ever give up. Don't ever let the devil tempt you. Don't ever let anyone say otherwise. When it came to my faith, I was actually very scared to even admit to her that I was struggling with being a member of the church, because, you know, me bringing her in, it's like, what the heck? Like, now you're struggling? But my mom, you know, she's in my eyes, she's really young, but she has a lot of wisdom behind those beautiful eyes of hers. She said, you know, Wendall, just don't let anything get between you and God, no matter what. Don't let the church get between you and God. Don't let any man get between you and God. That just blew me away. You know, she is a very active member of the church. I am so happy to hear how she home teaches this 94-year-old woman in a nursing home. You know, how she goes visiting, teaching, how she gets invited to have dinner with the senior missionaries. She is, you know, she kind of reminds me of me. She's very adamant of joining at first, and then she's just golden. And I didn't want to ruin that for her. And when I heard that, it was just a very big sigh of relief to know that she will be behind, she will support me no matter what. Now, the thing I struggled the most, honestly, at first it was being gay. I recently became comfortable with coming out to myself about 3 years ago. But before that, it was just a massive struggle. I felt that I had to get away from home. I hated North Carolina, but I really did miss my family. And I felt that my family wouldn't accept me. And I was very surprised when I'm stuttering. I prayed about it, and I came out on Facebook, and the amount of love that was poured towards me. And, you know, that was probably one of the greatest days of my life was when I came out. I've had so many of my return missionaries, companions who I haven't heard from in years say, hey, you know, you're a great guy, you know, we love you no matter what. You know, we want you to know that, you know, if you stay true to the church, to the gospel, you'll be fine. Like, okay. Now at this time, I wasn't exactly ready to admit that I wanted to have a relationship. So at that time, I had, I guess you can say a sign given to me, or I guess a spiritual prompting, or I don't know what you call it, whatever it is, by a really good friend who actually, I worked at Iceberg. He came in and he introduced me to a group called North Star. I got started in North Star. And I'm very happy to say that he's in this audience today. And with that came a whole new, like, an opening, like a wonderful opportunities just blew up. Knowing that there are gay, that there are those who are gay who are in LDS, like me, and who are really trying, and who are really struggling, who are navigating this journey just as much as I am. And it gave me so much solace, something that I was really looking forward to. You know, I stayed really active in my ward. I was a counselor in the Elders Quorum presidency, and I was ward clerk for a while in my singles ward. And for a while, control. I felt I really got it together. And then as everyone, I knew it shook everyone else. The November 15th policy came, and at first, I really tried to reconcile with it. Follow the prophet. Like there's a reason behind it. There was, and I just couldn't. During that time, one of my best friends was getting married, and that was rough because, I felt, he's allowed to get married and I'm not, and sorry, I didn't think that was fair. Why would God, do that to me? I was really angry. And that was when everything started to go downhill. Facebook was my outlet and still is. Whoever is my friend will know that I've posted some very controversial stuff on family. And the responses were mixed. When I said, I don't know if the church is true anymore, I had a person completely just say, did you pray about it? If you pray hard enough, you'll receive an answer. You don't have to question it. It is true. And I just looked at that post and was like, it doesn't work like that. Not for me, it doesn't. And I've prayed. I still to this day pray. That's one thing my mom always told me, is to pray. And I wasn't receiving any answers. Now, on a side note, I know that this talk is about healing and how I've gone through this journey, but I feel that sharing the pain, I guess opening the wound will help it heal even better. So yeah, I talked to my bishop. I did everything that I felt I was supposed to, and I wasn't receiving any answers, and it was just becoming harder and harder until it came to a point where for the first time ever in the 10 years I've been a member, I became inactive. And I was inactive for a solid 3 months. Right? Yeah, I like that. And it was hard. I really dedicated my time and my life to the church. I felt in my heart that the gospel is true. I wanted to serve God with all of my heart. But this literally made me feel like I was being run over by a bus. During this time, it was a major experience or a major trial of humbling myself as well. For the longest time, I felt that gay couples were trying to destroy the church. I thought that those who didn't look towards going to the temple for Elias are just controlled by Satan. I really was actually fearful of anyone who wasn't a member of North Star who was gay to even interact or talk to them. So I was being very judgmental and, like the Bible says, an ass. But I think, honestly, a major factor of the healing process is humility. I like doing that. As I was going through that, I reached out for the very first time to Affirmation. Though I don't know word for word, I still remember the post. And, I said, hey, I don't post here a lot, but I'm really, really struggling with my faith right now. I have no idea where to go. I've read a lot of you guys' posts, and I really, really would like some advice. And then, lo and behold, I get a message from one Lisa Lowe Fry. Anyone who doesn't know Lisa, go to St. George and go to Dutchman's and get to know her. She is an amazing woman. She has been there for ever since I was going through my faith transition. I was really sad when she wasn't able to come here, and she was here too. I had breakfast with her, but she helped me. She took the time out. She talked with me. She invited me to her home. In fact, when it got to the lowest point with me in the church, when I had to actually move out of the ward that I was a part of for 3 years, she let me stay at her home for 6 months until I could get up. So I owe Lisa a lot. And with her example, it just goes to show that those who support LGBT rights, because she's a mama dragon, she has a gay son. Those who support the gay children, those who are questioning or doubting in the church are not bad people at all. In fact, they are probably some of the most humble, nicest people I've ever known. So another thing that I was able to do was to open my heart and my mind, which is another step, is to actually open your heart and open your mind to learning. You know, I started to learn about church history as well. I love history, and for a long time I denied all the bad things that was said about the church. You know, as a missionary, it really hurt when people would talk bad about the church. You know, I felt the church was perfect. But when I read, you know, some of the events that have happened in the past, it made me angry for a moment. But then I just came to realize that, you know, the gospel, to me, the gospel is perfect. That's what we teach. The gospel is true. You know, the people aren't. The church on the earth is run by men. A lot of them are like a lot of the ideas, like me myself, like some of the things they say or do are based on what they feel or what they see. And for me, it just goes to show that if history repeats, like in history, a lot of people have been hurt. You know, I'm black as well, as everyone can tell. You know, gay black woman, so I'm like a double-edged sword here. So, but I see how in the 40 years after people of color were able to receive the priesthood, you know, how much the church has flourished, but I can see that it took quite a bit of time for that to happen. And I am proud to say that for me, what's really helped me in my healing is that the leaders of the church are still men. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. I just stopped thinking that they were. Honestly, you know, I've got a lot of backlash for that. I've had many of the conversations of how I said that, you know, the prophets, you know, the prophets are never wrong, and I'm like, you're wrong. But you know, me personally, like, I am an honest seeker of truth. I feel for me that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the church for me. It might not fit for everyone. It doesn't mean I can't be your friends. It doesn't mean I'm going to hate you. You can be Muslim, you can be Hindu, You can be Baptist, you can be anything you want. And I will love you and I will respect you. And I will never force my religion down, on you. I will share with you what I believe. But I think, honestly, I want to be an example of what my religion teaches. I just wanted to share a quote about, truth. This was given by an apostle, Q.B. Brown. I love this man so much. Like, he was way ahead of his time. And I think this quote right here is what's kind of making me, it's like showing me what I just said. And he says, "The honest investigator must be prepared to follow wherever the search of truth may lead. Truth is often found in the most unexpected places. He must, with fearless and open mind, insist that facts are far more important than any cherished, mistaken beliefs, no matter how unpleasant the facts or how delightful the beliefs are." I kind of want to put I want to just color on my wall that, because it's so true. I've come to realize that a lot of people have different perspectives. They have different life situations, different life stories. And I think, for me personally, I believe that individually, this is the only earth, this is the only planet we live on. We have to learn how to get along with each other. And sometimes that doesn't work, but it is possible. And truth, every person has one bite or one little piece of truth that we can put in our own lives to circumscribe into one great whole. I learn new things every single day. I learn from the opinions of others. I learn from my very own disagreements with what a person says or what a person believes. But it is my duty I think it's my own personal responsibility to not be disrespectful and to not to stomp on their beliefs, but share with them what I think of it. And if it doesn't jive with them, then honestly, that's fine. And honestly, there's so many things that I can say. I think honestly sometimes I feel like I'm kind of blowing hot air, especially like right now. Like I feel like I'm just jabbering. Tammy's back there smiling at me. She's also an amazing woman, but I want to raise a family. I'm going to do a darn good job. Honestly, no one can tell me I'm not. No one can tell me that I'm counterfeit, because at the end of the day, you look at the children, and you see how happy they are, how healthy they are, how much love they have for their parents, and how much love their parents have for them. And there is no room for counterfeit in that. I would like to conclude with, I sound all professional now, but yes, I would like to conclude that I love you all, each and every one of you. I'm so thankful for this opportunity to speak. I'm thankful that you guys, all of you are here, and that all of you are looking at me, and it's really kind of putting back the nervousness, but I am thankful for your attention. I love you all, and I honestly just want to help and serve everyone. Thank you.